The Justice Committee will come to order, and the clerk will open the roll.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
All right. Chair recognizes Senator Norment in connection with his Senate Bill 4013.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have filed Senate Bill 4013, and I respectfully request that it be stricken from the calendar.
All right, there's a motion to strike the bill, properly seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, record your vote.
Ayes 12, noes 2.
That bill is stricken. Chair recognizes Senator McDougall for motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the remaining bills on our docket be referred to the Crime Commission.
Second.
There's been a motion properly seconded to refer all of the bills on the docket
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
to the, hang on one second, to the Crime Commission
Mr. Chairman.
by letter, and that any further bills filed by July 18 and referred to the Courts of Justice Committee also be referred by letter to the Crime Commission. Is that right, Senator McDougall? All right.
Question, Mr.
Hang
Chairman.
on one second. That motion's been made and seconded. Senator Edwards.
Mr. Chairman, I understand the Crime Commission's docket is full. They have a lot of bills. They've already decided what the docket is going forward. And so I think this be a meaningless thing to do.
I think that we have had consultations with the Crime Commission. I think that as chairman, I've got some ideas to what the workload of the Crime Commission looks like. I think they'll be able to handle it. So with that, motion properly seconded is
Mr.
to
Chair.
refer the bill to the, or all the bills to the Crime Commission. Senator Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I want to oppose the motion. We have a lot of people that have traveled a long way. We have a lot of bills to discuss today. And I wish we would have an opportunity at a minimum to give people a public hearing.
That's right.
All right.
Mr. Chairman.
Motion is
I
before
have
us.
Another
Senator
question.
Edwards.
Mr. Chairman, there are people coming from all over the state. I had the mayor of the city of Roanoke, one of our council members from the city of Roanoke on a bill that's right before us right now. At a minimum, these individuals should have an opportunity to voice their views.
Right. Thank you. Motion is before us. Senator Norman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I speak from the perspective of a former chairman of the Crime Commission and a long-term member of that. Earlier today, we reminded a number of interested parties who had traveled far and near and the Fourth Estate that in 2007, then Governor Tim Kaine took a very different approach towards the tragedy that occurred at Virginia Tech. He appointed a bipartisan commission under retired Colonel Massengill, who had the responsibility to objectively, thoroughly, and deliberately look at what had taken place at Virginia Tech, but also to make recommendations as to what could have been done, if anything, to remediate that situation. After discussing with our colleagues in the House of Delegates, we thought that the Crime Commission, one, had the latitude to undertake this extremely important public policy, and we're very appreciative that they were willing to stretch their workload a little bit. But secondly, the Crime Commission, for individuals in the audience that may not be aware, it is made up of both Republicans and Democrats and appointees from the administration. So it is in fact a bipartisan, independent, objective body, very similar to the Blue Ribbon Commission that Governor Kaine appointed in 2007. We certainly do not mean to be disrespectful to any advocate on the issue who has traveled to be here today. But what we are trying to do is to take this whole debate out of the arena of political theater and to have an objective, deliberate, and analytical approach to it. So I appreciate what has been said, but candidly, I can't think of a state agency that would be more appropriate to look at it with the staff and expertise they have.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Howe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also am a longtime member of the Crime Commission, I think maybe 25 years, something like that. And it has been my observation over the years that the recommendations of the Crime Commission are virtually always followed. And I would like to know if it's the intention of the chairman of this committee that if he is still chairman next session, that they will follow the recommendations of the Crime Commission.
I don't believe that we're going to deprive anybody of their free will. The Crime Commission primarily operates by consensus, and I would imagine that if consensus recommendations come out of the Crime Commission in which we have a bipartisan coalition in support of those, I would like to think that we all, just as we did following the 2007 Blue Ribbon Commission. Many of those were bipartisan recommendations that actually did a whole lot to make Virginia a safer place. I'm proud of the work that Senator Howell and others did back then, and I think that, that those recommendations were not universally adopted, but many meritorious recommendations came out. I would also point out that there are 40 members of the Senate who I believe each believe we have cornered the market on political wisdom and public policy wisdom. I don't question the sincerity of the beliefs articulated by my esteemed friends on the other side of the aisle or the advocates who came to Richmond today. I think that they're going to have an opportunity to be heard. But what I think is most important is that the professional staff of the Crime Commission be given an opportunity to actually take a deep dive into these complex policy issues and develop evidence-based recommendations, not highly politically charged recommendations. And I think that this will give them the opportunity to do so, and we'll just have to wait and see what the results of that work is and what we can agree on. It would be my hope that there's going to be a lot that's going to come out of the Crime Commission, that you and I can link arms and work together to cooperatively get through the legislative process.
Mr. Chairman.
Chairman, if I might.
Senator Howell.
Thank you. You and I have worked closely on the Crime Commission for a number of years. And when it comes to the gun bills, anything dealing with gun safety, it has been sort of the recommendation of the executive board and the whole Crime Commission that we actually don't deal with them. So it is my hope that it'll be different this time.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Edwards for the third time.
At least third time. Mr. Chairman, I note the fact that the Crime Commission studies, makes recommendations, but has no authority to report bills to either the House or the Senate. We are sitting here today as sworn elected officials under the Constitution that have the responsibility and the duty to consider bills and to report them or not report them to the floor. And that's why we're here today. The Crime Commission does not have that responsibility or that authority. Yet we're here today, and I suggest we do our job, do our duty, listen to these bills, and vote one way or the other to report them to the floor or not. And I suggest we're avoiding our responsibilities unless we do that.
So Senator Deeds, then Senator Sasslaw.
Mr. Chair, the Massengale Commission was indeed a bipartisan work of art. They did a lot of good work, but I'd remind the members of this committee that very few of their recommendations were actually enacted into law. They didn't generate the political will to make a lot of lasting change in the law of the Commonwealth of Virginia. This committee is charged with making that change now. We've got these bills, many of which we've seen in one form or another multiple times over the years.
Senator Sasslaw.
Yeah, I've been here longer than anybody in this room.
Turn your microphone on.
You and I both know that 12 years ago at the shooting at Virginia Tech, not one damn thing was done other than some mental health bills. Guns are untouchable by a legislature that's been controlled, Mr. Chairman, and I realize you weren't the chairman of the committee then, by your party. Let me just point out to everyone in here that within 21 days after the shooting in Parkland, Governor Scott, a Republican, signed into law, 21 days after the shooting, a bill that raised the buying age to 21, banned bump stocks, and allowed police to take a guy to court and say tell the judge he's mentally unstable and stop all this. There was no reason, if Florida could do this with a Republican legislature and a Republican governor, and I haven't heard anybody anywhere, press or otherwise, other than maybe the Citizens Defense League and NRA, call it irresponsible. There was no damn reason we couldn't have done that here today.
The motion before us is to refer the bills to the Crime Commission. The roll is open.
Ayes 9, noes 6.
All right, the bills are referred to the Crime Commission for consideration. That is the docket of the committee. The committee will rise.